Let me just fix my. Great. Can you all hear me? Awesome. Okay. So welcome. Thank you to the people that were able to come to my lecture. And now, from now until, we got about 45 minutes. So what I'd like to do is basically do what we've been doing for the past 14 months together, classes on Zoom. And so most of you know the drill, but for people that don't, I'm just going to introduce the class. I do want to say this class is live streamed on YouTube, but I want to ask how people feel about that. If people feel good about that, we can keep it, or if people feel weird about it and would rather we not do that, we can do that too. So feel free to just let me know in the chat if you're able to post in the chat if you're cool with that. You know, you can feel free to leave your camera off. Of course, do whatever you need to do for privacy settings. But yeah, if there's strong opposition to it, we can just not live stream it. So I'll wait to hear any strong feelings. Okay to stream. Who's appearing on YouTube? Good question. If your camera's off, you won't appear on YouTube. Okay, but if people, Amanda, quick question for you. If people's cameras are on, are they automatically on YouTube, or do they have to speak?
It depends on what view you want. If you want a group view at some point, then if someone's camera's on, they'll show up on YouTube. But if you want me to just spotlight different people, then only those folks would show up. So
okay,
it's up to you.
well, how about this, Amanda? Why don't you just spotlight me? That way I can still see everybody on the screen, and then they won't be live streamed on YouTube.
Yep, that works.
Does that work? Okay, great. So if that feels good to everybody, that way people don't have to turn their cameras off in order to remain private. Okay, great. So I'm just gonna kind of go through like what we've been doing. We started, just for a little context, we started these classes, for folks who don't know, when the shutdown happened in late March. And a lot of the people that you see here today have been coming every week. And it's been really, really amazing to just share the space. And today is going to be our last virtual class before a 2-week break, after which we will kind of touch base again and think through how we want to engage on or off screen. And yeah, great. So I have a couple of things for folks that I just want to pop in the chat. The first is a virtual guide, and this just gives a little bit more information about our classes. And second is this instructional video, which I wasn't able to show in my lecture, but which I'd love to share with you all. And today I'm using like a very slim class plan. Usually I have a little bit heftier of a, you know, things written out, but since today's an abbreviated class, I'll just share in the chat. But there's the plan for today. The description is actually from last week. We worked on leaping left hooks, and we'll do a quick review of those too. But to start off, we're going to do a warm up, and I'm switching gears here. So I'm in instructor mode now. Unfortunately, I left my sneakers at a rehearsal with Takahiro, and so I'm in my socks. But if you're wearing sneakers, that's great. If you're, you know, whatever you're wearing is good. What I want to say too is that I really appreciate you turning your cameras on so I can just get to know you better as fighters. But if you want to turn your camera off, that's fine, as long as we know who you are. Oh, hi, Rowan. I'm glad you made it. Good to see you.
How do I turn my camera on?
Oh, what's up, Lucky?
I don't know how to turn my camera on.
I know who you are. You don't have to. Lucky knows how to box. Yeah. So don't worry about it. And yeah, so just a heads up, this class is going to be recorded. It's live streamed on YouTube. Generally, they're not. And only I'm visible on YouTube. And the last thing is that just listen to your body. Listen to what you need to do to feel comfortable. Okay. So I'm going to lead everybody in a warm up. And if anybody needs anything like listed out in the chat, I'll do the combinations when we get to those, but I'll call out everything else verbally. So if that doesn't work for somebody, just let me know what I can do to help out. Okay, and I'll be keeping my own time and everything too. So people who have boxed with me before know how bad I am at multitasking and will be patient with me, I'm sure. But people who haven't, just please be patient with me. So we're gonna start out with jumping jacks, okay? 25 jumping jacks. I'll count them off, but go at your own pace. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, good. 7, 8. Nice, Mom. Good job. 9, 10, good. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Good. Now just a little bit of a bounce. So we've been working on warm-ups the last few weeks, just getting people used to shifting the weight on their feet. Okay. Left, right. You can let your hands down for this one. Just keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. Okay. And you're on the balls of your feet here. Left, right, left, right. Find a rhythm. You know, it's unique to you, but just find what feels good. And coordinate your breathing with it too, you know. Just constant breath. Nice and relaxed. Shoulders loose. For people that feel like they'd like to, you can start doing the heel kick kind of thing that we've been doing. Okay. Touch your heel. Bow, bow. If you want to start moving around a little bit, you could do that. Okay. Move around a little bit. Even if you don't have much space, move around just a little bit. Good. Now we're going to go into high knees for 10 seconds. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to our bounce. Shifting weight. Good. Back to it. Nice and light. High knees, 10 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to bouncing. We're going to do one more set of high knees in about 5 seconds. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Break. Shake it out, shake it out. Good. Now, something I thought might be nice is doing a little bit of a brief boxing 101 introduction. And for the people that have been boxing for a long time, you can choose what you'd like to do. Okay, you can kind of follow along with us and help demonstrate the punches that you've been now working on for a long time, or you can use it as a freestyle shadow boxing session. Okay, whatever you'd like to do. So what I'm going to do after I catch my breath is put 4 minutes on the clock. And I'm just going to introduce people whose first time it is to some of the basics. But if you want a refresher, I would say check out the video I put in the chat too. All right, folks. So I'm going to put the timer for 4 minutes and just run through some of the basics here. Grab some water if you need it. Great. So when you're boxing, okay, the hand that you jab with, your lead hand, well, basically, let's start from the feet down. If you're right-handed, you're going to stand with your left foot forward, okay? So basically, your dominant hand is your rear hand, and your non-dominant hand is your lead hand. And you start, you stand just kind of like your hips on an angle. I like to say it's kind of like you're standing if an L was painted on the floor, sort of stand on that L, right? Your back foot should be pointed at like 2 o'clock. And your lead foot is kind of like not quite at noon, but just a little bit turned in. And you should be able to just bend your knees. You'll know your balance if you bend and you don't kind of lose your balance. Okay, good. So we start from the feet, we move up to the hips, which are at an angle. Okay. Now, when we're like this, put your arms out straight. Okay. Now, you'll notice your lead hand is probably going to be a little longer than your rear hand. And if it's not, and they're both at the same level, you need to twist your hips a little bit, okay, towards that rear hand. Very good. So you take your hands here and get them right to your face, okay? My famous thing is act like you have handlebars on your cheekbones, okay? So anywhere your head goes, your hands go there too, right? Just like that. So for me, my left hand is my jab because I'm right-handed. It's basically any hand that you throw a ball with, that's going to be your backhand. So when I throw my jab, I just turn it out from my face and bring it right back. Sometimes I like to tell people, pretend you're just like grabbing something from a shelf in your house. Just grab it, get it back. Grab it, get it back. And my fist should be closed, but not clenched. Just grab it, get it back. Good. Right hand, very similar. Except for this, I'm going to twist my hips. Good, very good. And I come back. Twist my hips, come right back. Twist my hips, come right back. And you can see what my foot does when I'm doing this. Turn. Turn. Okay. So we've got the jab, cross, and now I want to show you head movement, which is called slipping. Basically just means getting out of the way of a punch. So what you're in right now is called your boxing stance. Okay, so if anyone ever says get in your boxing stance, that means, you know, you're balanced, your hands are up, your eyes are looking forward, you're not looking at the ground, your chin's down, okay? And from your boxing stance, this is how we want to learn how to get out of the way of punches. If we can learn how to slip a punch while we're in our boxing stance, then that means we can throw a punch right there after we slip. Because everything in boxing is like you're always doing at least two things at once. There's never just like, nothing's like ever just a distinct one thing. Okay, so we've got our in our boxing stance, hands up by our face. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna demonstrate, and then we're all gonna kind of do this together. So I want you all to practice slipping over your lead foot and also slipping over your rear foot. What you want to do is kind of create a triangle in the air. So one side, you come up back to center. The other side, you come up back to center. One side, come up back to center. I want to lean forward, but not so much I lose my balance. Don't be afraid to bend your knees, okay? I want everyone to come back together now. Shadow boxing folks, just come here real quick. If you need water, grab water. People who were just working with me, you're doing great, and I just want everybody to come together because I think that this could be helpful for people to see how other people respond to these movements. So what I was just going over with folks was slipping. So let's have everybody together get in their boxing stance, okay? Hands up, nice and balanced, nice and relaxed, okay? So now what I want to do is demonstrate slipping. So we're kind of just doing these movements, getting used to it, right? So let me see here, who's on my screen? Adrian, let's demonstrate this. So Adrian is an orthodox boxer, meaning that their left hand is forward, okay? So when we're boxing one another, we're kind of like, you know, not necessarily mirror. If you're a mirror image, we're not mirror image, but we're sort of like opposite one another, right? So whatever that's called, I don't know. So if I'm boxing Adrian and I throw out my jab at them, Adrian, if you're looking at Adrian's screen, Adrian's going to go over their right foot, okay? Their right foot. So I throw out my jab, Adrian slips to their right, okay? So good. Now come back to center. Very good, Adrian. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to throw my jab. Adrian moves to over their rear foot. Good. Now, one more time and watch me. So when I throw this jab, and Adrian slips it, look where I'm open now. I don't have any defense, okay? My right hand is up, but this is open. So what Adrian can do now is exploit that and hit me while, you know, my guard isn't up. Similarly, when I throw, very good. Similarly, when I throw my right hand, Adrian's gonna slip over to their left, okay? And now what Adrian's gonna try to do is throw their jab to counter where I'm open, okay? So for people who slipping is new, I wanna just kind of contextualize it for you a little bit. So it's not just this arbitrary movement. You could see why we do this, okay? Because in boxing, you have to, the whole thing is you hit and you don't get hit, ideally, right? So you always have to constantly be thinking about, I'm doing something, but what is gonna, like, kind of what am I vulnerable to with this now, right? Okay. So everybody in your boxing stance, we're gonna do combination work. So what I just taught the people that are, you know, getting refresher or learning is the jab, the cross, and slips, okay? So round one, what the combination is gonna be, and so the jab, remember, that's your lead hand. The cross is your rear hand. For me, it's my right. For most folks, your cross is gonna be your right, unless you're a lefty. So round one, what we're gonna throw is a jab, jab, cross, okay? Jab, jab, cross. Then you're gonna slip over the same side that you threw your cross, okay? Jab, jab, cross, slip. All right? Jab, jab, cross, slip, rear, okay? Now, for folks that have been coming to class for a while, you know what I want you to do. Step with that jab and move after you slip, okay? So jab, jab, cross, slip, step over, move out of the way, okay? Don't just stand there and then reset. But for folks who are just learning these punches, give yourself all the time you need. I'm gonna set the timer for just a minute and a half here. And I encourage people to also look at, put their computers, put their screens in gallery mode, because you have a lot of really great fighters here that you can, you know, can kind of help show you how the punches go. So I'm gonna start the time now, go. And I'll be demonstrating as well, okay? Jab, jab, cross, slip rear. Very good. Jab, jab, cross, slip rear. Jab, jab, cross, slip rear. Good, and try to keep your elbows in too. That's one thing I forgot to mention. When we're punching, we don't want chicken wings. We want to get our elbows pointed down. Jab, jab, cross, slip rear. Nice. Good, nice Rowan. Nice, Zach, beautiful. Good, Kelsey. Good, Lisa, get your punches extended too. Let them snap, pow, 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 pow. Yep, very good. Yeah, get it all the way out. When it ends, your arm should be straight. Don't leave it in like this, pow, snap. There you go. Nice, Ivy. Nice. Nice, Taka. Oh, Taka and Sulu are together. Yes. Good. Nice, Mom. Hands up. Very good. Keep your eyes up too. And time. Very good. Very, very good. How's that feel? Feels okay? Okay, good. So we're going to build on it now. So each combination, we're going to build on it. So we have jab, jab, cross, slip rear. Okay. Now I'm going to give a couple variations. Okay. So for people that just today only learned the punches for the first time, just stick with the jab and the cross. Okay. For people that know some more punches and want to practice them, I'm going to give you the option to do that too. So for round two, what we're going to do is build on this. Jab, jab, cross, slip, rear. And then you're going to go jab, jab, cross, slip, rear. Okay. For people who want to practice their uppercuts, what I want you to do is uppercut, cross, okay? So slip rear, make sure your eyes are up so you can see the opening, bop, uppercut, cross. All right, for people who just learned the punches today, cross, cross. Meaning after you slip over that rear, you're gonna bop, bop. Notice when I throw 2 crosses in a row, very good, Rowan, nice. You did that naturally, you know, you did that intuitively. So you don't want to throw a punch, throw another punch right there. You want to actually, you know, everything comes from your hips. You want to bop, bop. Okay. So this edition, we're just going to do for 1 minute, starting now. Go for it. Jab, jab, cross, slip, cross, cross. Or jab, jab, cross, slip, uppercut, cross. Jab, jab, cross, slip, cross, cross. Jab, jab, cross, slip, cross, cross. Jab, jab, cross, slip, cross, cross. People throwing the uppercuts, try to bop, get some power in them. Really make it pop, pop. Good, very good. Keep it up. Nice. 5 seconds, keep it up. Time. Beautiful. Shake it out a little bit. Stay nice and loose. Nice and loose. Okay. Now, we're going to build on it for 2 more rounds. Now we're going to get some footwork into it. Okay. So we've got jab, jab, cross, slip, uppercut, cross, or slip, cross, cross. Okay. Now I want to show everybody pivots. When Carl trains people, he shows people pivots right away. Kind of like the first thing, right after he teaches them the punches, the pivots. So what I want everybody to do after they throw this rear hand, I don't know if we have any southpaws in the room, but if we do, let me know. And if you can't flip this yourself, I'll help you, you know, with what you need to do and how it's different. Southpaw means that your right foot would go forward. So right after you throw that cross, you're going to bring your hand back and you're going to pivot, meaning all you're going to do is do a quarter turn. Your weight is on the ball of your lead foot. So I usually tell people it's like your foot is like your shoe is stapled to the floor or something, and you don't really move it. You just turn on it, quarter turn. And if your left foot is forward, I want you to turn clockwise, okay? Clockwise. So when I have my hands up like this too, I'm gonna throw cross, cross, come back, clockwise, okay? Now, after you turn, for folks who are a little bit more experienced and have experience throwing the hook, right after you turn, I want you dropping the hook, cross, lead uppercut. Okay, right after that pivot. Hook, cross, lead uppercut. For people who are just learning the punches today, after you pivot, I want you to throw jab, cross, jab. Okay, so I'm going to write that all down. Full combination, jab, jab, cross, slip, rear, cross, cross, pivot, clockwise for orthodox fighters, jab, cross, jab. And intermediate folks, what you're going to do, intermediate, you're going to do hook, cross, lead, uppercut. All right, we're going to put 1:30 on the clock, starting now. Go for it. Okay, full combination. Take your time with it too. Jab, jab, cross, slip, cross, cross. Get your hand back. Pivot, jab, cross, jab. Just gonna watch you all a little bit. Nice, Carrie. Very good. Good. Jab, jab, cross, slip rear, cross, cross, pivot clockwise, jab, cross, jab, or hook. What'd I say? Hook, cross, lead, uppercut. Hook, cross. Yeah, that's what I said. Good combination. Yep. Good. Keep it up. Jab, jab, cross, slip rear, cross, cross. Okay, hand back, pivot, jab, cross, jab. Good. Keep it up. 10 seconds. Very good. Make sure you keep your chin down. 2, 1, time. Very good. Very, very good. Beautiful. One more round of combinations. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, we got round 4. Then we're gonna go into burnout punches. But what I'd like to do before we go into burnout punches is let you know what those are, so we can just go straight into them without having to demonstrate them. There are many people here that have done them many times before. And so if you look at their screen, you can, hey, Adrian. If you look at their screen, you could, he turned his camera off. It's my classmate's son. Okay, so burnout punches, what these punches are, we're really concerned more with rhythm than with power. And so the way that my trainer has shown me is there's straight punches and then uppercuts or shoe shine. So straight punches are just your 1, 2, okay, 1, 2. And you want to just get used to being able to really just nice and loosely throw these punches. Not too worried about power. And if you look at my feet, I'm moving my hips as I throw them. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Find whatever rhythm works for you. So those are the straight punches. Shoe shine, when I say that, that means uppercuts. And really, same thing, let your hips move. Okay, keep your chin down and just bow, 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 bow. When you start to get a little comfortable, you can just let them roll a little bit more. Let them roll. Try to get it all together so you're not only throwing arm punches, but it's all really coming from your toes to your hips, up to your shoulders. Good. And when I say hook off, for people who know how to throw the hook and want to practice it, when I say hook off, that's usually when they go like this, bow. That's what I got from Carl too. You say hook off, bow, without losing the rhythm. Very good. So you can do it from the shoe shine uppercut punches or straight punches. And then you hook off, bow. Okay? Good. You know what I think, actually, it might be nice to just go into burnouts right now. That way we could maybe get even 2 rounds of them in. Okay? So what I want to do, and thanks for being flexible, switching this up a little bit. So I want to do burnouts. The first round, we're going to do burnouts, but I'm going to interrupt you and say box. And when I say box, what I want you to do, some of you probably know, is I want you to work the jab. Okay, work the jab. So you're going to be doing burnouts, punches. Okay, burnouts. And then when I say box, jab, jab. Just work your jab. Pretend there's someone in front of you, jab. Move around, practice your head movement, jab, jab. Okay, folks who are comfortable with stepping with it, get the step in, no matter what. Jab, 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 jab. Then I'll say burnout, and we go back, okay? Then the second round, we'll just go straight through burnouts. Okay, so I'm gonna write in the chat what we're gonna do. Burnouts with intermittent jabs, 1 minute, 30 seconds. And that is about to start. Does everyone feel comfortable with that? Yeah? Okay, cool. So that is about to start. Now, start with straight burnout punches, straight punches. Good, keep them up. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Find your rhythm. 2, 1, 2. Good, make sure you get the elbows all the way back. And when your punches land, you want them to kind of pop and snap. And the way to get them to do that is make sure you extend them all the way. Okay. Shoe shine. Keep breathing too. Always breathing. Hook off. Nice. If you haven't learned the hook or don't feel comfortable with it, don't worry about hooking off. But for the people that do, I want them to get used to throwing it in there. Keep working with the uppercuts. Good job, Nadine. Nice job, Mom, Maya. Adrian, good. Okay, hook off. Back to shoe shine. Hook off. Good. Okay, now box. Just the jab. Just the jab. Move your head. Different levels. You can see Zach's working jab to the body, jab to the head. That's great. Start working it. Jab. 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 Straight punches. Shoe shine, go through the bell. Straight punches. Shoe shine. And time. Good. One more round of burnouts. That was great. We're going to do one more round of burnouts. Then we're going to get our push-ups and sit-ups in, and we'll save about 5 or 10 minutes at the end for questions. If people who are at the lecture want to chat about how the virtual classes have been, or just ask things about boxing in general, totally encourage it. Grab water if you need it. Get your breath. This time we're going to go 2 minutes on the burnout round. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1, and we're going to start with straight punches. Go, straight punches. 1, 2, 1, 2. Stay on the balls of your feet. When you move your hips, it's like the punches kind of get thrown out for you. You don't have to do much. Uppercuts or shoe shine. Good. Chin down, chin down. Good. Try to get them out a little faster. Straight punches. If you feel comfortable with it, start taking some steps forward, steps backwards, to the side, other side. If you haven't learned footwork yet, don't worry about it. But if you have, start moving around. Shoe shine. Hook off. Good. Hook off. Hook off. Hook off. Straight punches. Very good. Nice, Mel. Good. Safe. Very good. Uppercuts. Hook off. Double hook. Good. Double hook. Straight punches. Uppercuts. Hook off. Double hook. Straight punches. Uppercuts. Straight punches. Hook off. Hook off. Nice. Hook off. Double hook. Double hook. Good. Shoe shine through the bell. Through the bell. Straight punches. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Good. Awesome. Very good. Very good. Beautiful. Grab some water. I know I'm going to get some. Okay. That was great. You all did incredible work. Right? Awesome. Now, before we have too much time to rest, we'll get our sit-ups in and our push-ups. So, when we do push-ups, the way we do them is the way that I was taught, which is we don't look at the floor, we keep our eyes up. But it makes them a lot more difficult. And so if you're able to do push-ups on your knees while looking up, but you're not able to do them on your toes while looking up, I would say do push-ups on your knees. It's much better. than doing them kind of like this. And, that doesn't really help you too much. Okay. So we're going to do 10 push-ups, but do however many you can and do them however feels comfortable for you. We'll do them, I'll count them off, but go at your own pace. We're going to do 10 push-ups, 10 crunches, 10 push-ups, 10 crunches. Okay. So 2 sets of each, going back and forth. And go. 1, good. 2, 3, good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Keep breathing. 10. Great. And sit-ups, however you feel comfortable. If it doesn't feel good to you to like raise your back up like that, I always suggest that you can do these kind where you just, don't raise your back up so much and you just kind of use your core to bring your fingertips to your knees, or you could just do the regular ones. But try not to like launch yourself up with your neck and instead use your stomach muscles. Okay. We're going to do 10 starting now. 1, good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Now I'm looking at the time and I forgot we actually end at 10 minutes to the hour. So what I'm going to do is what I do some weeks when we run out of time is assign you all homework of, 10 push-ups and 10 sit-ups. And what I thought we could do is kind of wrap there and see if anybody has questions. I know that in the class last week, I talked to some of y'all and some participants said they'd be open to chatting and just like having a dialogue. So if people feel good about that, go for it. I'm open to questions. Yeah, just if people have anything they want to ask about the classes or transboxing in general, some of us are down for that. So, but if you'd rather hop off, no worries. And thank you so much for coming out. And good work, everybody. It is, very good work. I'm not going to get too sentimental because we'll probably, figure out some configuration of virtual classes. But so sweaty. Yes, it's hot in New York, I'm sure. And I'm going to turn it over to people in the audience in the Zoom room.
Hey, Nolan. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up? So I have a question I wanted to ask in your lecture, but last time I saw you in the park, we like kind of started to talk about the ways in which you're thinking about transboxing, how like maybe the word trans has like kind of augmented its meaning, right? And I guess I say that I write about boxing as well, but I guess one thing I think about a lot is intimacy, right? And I think a lot of your lecture had me thinking a lot about like transcultural connections, but also like kind of like transbodily, right? So a lot of the ways we think about boxing, we might think of like the individual, but so much of it for me, I can say that having sparred you is that I feel like I know you so much better, right? I know like I know your power, I know your speed, I know how long your arms. So and I guess I was interested in seeing maybe if you had any thoughts about transness as a concept that like, of course, includes like our typical uses of like transgender or however we want, but also how like boxing as a artistic practice, a martial practice allows us to like transcend our boundaries as like individualized beings and think about ourselves as a more like collective thing. So
yeah, that's such a great question. And Zach studies boxing, and Zach studies boxing also in performance studies realm, and so I think it's really interesting to hear their background. And when I started transboxing, it was like, it's for trans people, right? And I think like over time, but I always kind of thought like it could be beneficial to people who have different identities, who don't identify as transgender. And I kind of think it's sort of taking this turn now where it's more inclusive and it's not as limited to just people who identify as transgender. And I think that, yeah, I mean, I think you're picking up on something I think about all the time. And I'm always worried to like, I'm always kind of like scared to speak on it because I don't want it to sound like this, I don't know, idealistic, like boxing is this realm in which everybody, you know, color doesn't matter and da 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 da. Because like, I don't believe that that's true. At the same time, when you're boxing somebody, you're working out next to them and you see them, you know, you get hit by them and then like you hit them and you see them hurt and you see them in a very vulnerable position and you see them, you know, I used to like when I would get beat up at the gym, I would cry, you know, and then my trainer would yell down the stairs and be like, "Are you crying?" And I'd come back up and my eyes were beet red. And like the people at the gym, like they saw me in that and they just were loving towards me, you know, and like maybe they wouldn't use the right pronouns all the time, but I felt like I really had a lot of their support. So it's always been kind of tricky for me to navigate because I'm like, okay, I know this is important, but at the same time, like, you know, I have people in my life that maybe aren't, you know, as aware of certain aspects of my transgender identity, but I feel like they know me very, very well in these kind of other realms. And so I'm kind of thinking of it, and I know I've talked to Carrie about this before too, like through centering trans people, like we can kind of see like, okay, well, what does it take to center trans people in something like boxing? And then you start to look at it and it's like, maybe that could benefit everybody, right? Thanks, Amanda, for the time check. So I'm kind of thinking about, yeah, how to negotiate the realities I've experienced with that and without kind of it getting diluted or distorted or turned into something it's not. So yeah, I think it's super complicated, but I agree with you. I mean, I think it's a lot has to do with intimacy and, you know, just like this realm in which we can experience one another's humanity, you know? Yeah, but I'm curious. Thank you so much, Zach. I'm curious if anyone has any questions for people who are involved in the project, who aren't me.
I have one. Oh, go ahead. Whoever just unmuted, I'll go after.
Oh, it's Harold, but he's breaking up. Go for it, Nadine.
Okay, this is not a very academic question, but it's for any members of trans boxing or for Nolan. I'm hearing some feedback.
Harold, we can't hear you. So Nadine's asking a question. Can you try again in a second? Okay, Nadine.
Thanks. My question is for any members of trans boxing. If when you were starting out, if anyone had difficulty with rhythm and like us having a sense of rhythm, and if that was a barrier to boxing, and if so, like was there anything like dancing or like any other practices that helped you with that as you started your practice of boxing? And I ask that selfishly because I don't have a sense of rhythm and it keeps me from boxing with Nolan because I get really embarrassed when I get like off rhythm.
Nolan, get her a speed bag, straight up.
Totally. Train to music is a good idea.
Music,
yeah. And it develops over time, right? I mean, that was my experience. And it can be like, it can be trained or have a beat in your head. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think just practice, to be honest. You know, you do something over and over, you'll learn it. Mel hits very hard, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, I'm not sure if I'm audible now.
Oh, you're good now, Harold. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I lost reception for a second. Anyway, yeah, I was just curious to hear from participants in the project, especially folks who just got to see the lecture, about what their thoughts are on the idea of this being an art project as well as a functional boxing program. And so I was just curious to hear from actual participants. about that particular question.
Go for it, Sulu.
Yeah, I mean, that's a part that I think I've only had small windows on via like Nolan's Instagram. And so the lecture gave this whole scope, which I also work in theater, and very much in theater that's interactive and serves as a dialogue with community. So it was just like very exciting to feel like this, like I was like, oh, like, you know, I've just kind of been doing mostly the Zoom, and I'm still, you know, very excited to focus on it more as like, as boxing as a practice. But the artist in me is like excited that there's a part of it that is engaging with history, engaging with community, engaging with people in community, and really like reflecting and connecting on that. Like I'm here because I know Taka, and I also just see like, you know, that that there's folks, you know, coming in and out and through of the various parts of Nolan's work, and I think that's pretty cool.
Thanks, Sulu. All right, folks. Well, I see that we're at time, so I want to just be respectful because we have another event coming up right after this. And there are a couple questions. Oh, I see Ariana has a question. Yeah, let me follow up with you on that and maybe get some other participants' thoughts too. If anyone wants to send me what they think, what drew you to boxing over other athletic practices. I think everyone's got kind of their own unique sort of, you know, way that they relate to that. But thank you everybody so much for coming. And I'm so excited to have seen some new faces and returning faces. And yeah, I really appreciate the attention and participation so much. So thank you.
Thanks, Nolan.
Bye, everyone. Yep. Take care.